All right, everyone, I'm here with Simon Görtzen doing a deck tech here on Mono Red Fires in Explorer. Tell me a little bit about this deck, because this is definitely not the norm of Explorer decks we've been seeing.
Yeah, Corey, so basically we wanted to play Fires of Invention because we believe it's one of the best cards in Explorer, and then there was actually an Aspiring Spike video series on the Pioneer format, which my brother watched, where Fires of Invention was used in the same shell. And we figured out that this might be the best Fires deck for Explorer.
Okay, that makes sense. I've copied many of Aspiring Spike decks actually before as well. So let's take a look at the first slide here. This is kind of what the deck is all about. You said it yourself, Fires of Invention, but then we got to have cards that we can go into. We have Chandra, Cavalier of Flames, 2 Terror of the Peaks, and then 4 Karns. Tell us a little bit about why you chose these cards.
So first of all, that's a lot of expensive cards, but that's the whole reason. You play Fires of Invention, in the same turn you play another 4-drop, and then you want to have 4 and 5 drops, which are just game breaking. So Chandra is amazing, card advantage plus mana, Cavalier is the main win condition, and then Karn is kind of a 2-for-1. You fetch 2 cards from your sideboard, but it can also act as a silver bullet against certain strategy.
So as far as silver bullets from Karn, is there, of course this is going to limit your sideboard a little bit for other matchups. Is there certain silver bullets that you usually, get right away, or the most popular one in your Karn board?
So the most popular silver bullets are Tormod's Script, because you can get it on the turn that you play Karn.
Okay.
Grafdigger's Cage is also a good catch-all answer. But often you also just pick a 5-drop, because if you have fires, mana doesn't play a role. Yeah,
going Karn into boat, usually a pretty solid plan. I know you also have Treasure Vault, so you can just play a land if you really need land number 5.
Yeah, I wanted to cut it, but then you play one game and you don't have the 5th land, and you're like, this has to be in the side.
Concede the whole match, start over, put it back in there. Yeah, that makes sense to me. So checking it out, that's kind of our heavy hitters of the match. Now we have to kind of ramp into Fires, because Fires on turn 4 is great, but Fires on turn 3 is a little bit better. So we see Cleansing Wildfire, Darksteel Citadel, Cascading Cataracts, and then 4 Fable the Mirror Breaker. Tell us, why we're putting these lands into this slide.
So this Cleansing Wildfire is actually amazing if you have indestructible lands, right? Like it's a playable card, but with this deck with 8 indestructible lands and mono red otherwise, you have a very, very high chance to ramp yourself up to 4, but you also draw a card. It's like Rampant Growth plus draw a card. Well, there's nothing better than that.
I've cast Growth Spiral before. It's always pretty good. Do you ever really target your opponent's stuff with Cleansing Wildfire? I guess if you see the deck list and they don't have a basic or something.
That's one use case. Or if you don't have an indestructible land and they have a, I don't know, a Den of the Bugbear on their own.
Sure, deal with the utility land. And then we have Fable the Mirror Breaker. I mean, we don't have to really say too much about this card. It's been dominant in Standard, very good in Explorer. We've seen it in other formats as well. Tell us a little bit about Fable in this deck.
So first of all, Fable is an amazing card on its own.
Yeah.
And the Fires deck needs 2 and 3 drops that can also hold their weight. But the fact that you get extra mana with it, you can discard, like you can loot through your deck to find the key pieces, and then you have an interaction with the Reflection of Kiki-Jiki, which gets haste from Cavalier to copy Cavalier, and then your deck just goes completely nuts. Often, if you have a draw of Fable, Fires, and Cavalier in some combination, you just win out of nowhere. You can deal 20 damage easily. Okay,
that makes sense. So then we have our final slide. You have to have some removal. We have Frostbite, we see Bone Crusher Giant, and then Anger the Gods. Tell us a little bit about these.
Yeah, so Bone Crusher Giant is the card that ties the deck together. It's a great 2-drop, great 3-drop. Nothing spectacular though. Anger of the Gods is the card where we say, this has the potential to just stop aggro dead in its tracks.
Yeah.
And that's something that we didn't see from other Fires decks. So now we have this deck which has an insane late game, but also on turn 3 we are threatening to just 2-for-1, 3-for-1 the aggro opponent.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I think this deck is really sweet. I wish you the best of luck. This has been Simon Görtzen playing Mono Red Fires.